So, ladies and gentlemen, I will give a very short introductory speech. I would first like to welcome you, alums, angels, future participants in the incubator project of Groupe INSEEC, London. This is a very important moment for us to launch officially our incubator. And I was recently in a meeting in Paris with Professor Sylvie Faucheux to understand the complexity of the project. I recently arrived from the United States after a 4-year stay there, and I am now once again the director of the London campus. I would like also to salute Ron Morris, who steered the campus for over 3 years with much more skill than I did. I left him a campus that was just beginning to seek for traction, and Ron created an empire, as I like to say. And one of the things he did working with Professor Faucheux and Mike Abeda is to set up this moment. And he just called me from San Francisco to say hello to many of the people whom he became acquainted with and worked with. Without further ado, I just want to say that you have, after this event, we will walk across the street to have liquid entertainment, and if you are so inclined, and also to have some hors d'oeuvre. And so now I will introduce Professor Faucheux, who will outline the nature of the project, and after that, Mike Abeda, who is the strategic director for this undertaking. Thank you. Can you hold both?
Of course, yes. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure for me to be here today for the inauguration of the incubator of London INSEEC campus. Firstly, I have to excuse Catherine Lespin, the General Director of the international group INSEEC. She wanted to come, but she had a change in her agenda. Myself, I am an advisor on the questions of strategies of innovations and also strategy of corporate social responsibility. And I am very pleased to be there for this inauguration, and I want to thank Mac for his great job, also John and Ron Morris, who is now in our campus in San Francisco. I also thank all the team of the INSEEC London, because they have been very involved in the preparation of this event. I will be very short, and I want to present to you in first some insight about the group INSEEC. INSEEC is the leader in private sector higher education and research in France. INSEEC has actually 15,000 students and nearly 45,000 alumni. There are 4 campuses in France: Paris, Lyon, Bordeaux, Chambéry, and as you can see, there are about 15 schools belonging to the group. Sorry, I have a problem with it doesn't work. The right? You sure? Mm-hmm. Okay. You see also that INSEEC has 5 foreign campuses. London, we are here. Monaco, Geneva, Shanghai, and San Francisco. I try to be quick. So this project, the INSEEC project, is a project which has been decided by Catherine Lespine last year to build an international network for INSEEC, a network with different aspects. First of all, a network of incubators. We have 5 incubators, 5 which are not at the same stage, because today we are in London, this is the inauguration. There is also an axis of company acquisition, a crowdfunding axis, a partnership axis. For example, we have a project, very interesting project in San Francisco to have partnership with the incubator of Berkeley. And we have also project which has been started last year, the Social Entrepreneurship Academy, with a big group in France, Orange, and with La Ruche. We have also a business chair axis. For example, we are building now a business chair on digital territory and silver economy with French group Orange, and also with La Poste and with other groups. A target research axis. We have just won a big, very big European project, DEFORM, on the topics of responsible innovation. And also we are developing entrepreneurial training axis at the international level. So for the incubator operations, our 5 incubators have to operate a coordinated network at the international level. Each indicator has a director. In London, this is Mark. And each incubator has its one space and relationships with the other, and an annual operating budget. The incubators have to incube a project from alumni, from INSEEC alumni. And where we are today, INCUB Paris is operational for 18 months, and we have now 15 incubate projects, and they are mainly from digital. We have INCUB Lyon, it has opened in October, and 5 projects are incubated now. INCUB London is now. INCUB Bordeaux, the inauguration will be in March, next month, and INCUB Genève in September. And you can see difference. So if you have some question after about this organization, I will be very happy to discuss with you. And I'm so very happy to see there are a lot of alumni from INSEEC here with, I think, nice startup projects. Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvie. So now that we, now that we know about the project at the INSEEC level, at the corporate level, so to speak, I wanted to talk about specifically the one here in London. And we really look at it like a new addition to the London startup ecosystem. So I'll talk a little bit about the ecosystem and what I mean by that. But one thing I wanted to do is just really position the incubator as part of what's happening in London. As you can tell from my accent, I'm not French and I'm not British. I actually came from Silicon Valley a long time ago. That's where I started my career. And one thing that's been kind of exciting for me in the last couple of years is the fact that I'm starting to see some of that Silicon Valley energy and dynamic happening here in London quite a bit. So a lot of different cities around the globe want that to happen, but it actually is happening in London. It's a very exciting, vibrant time from that standpoint. So let's go through this. So first of all, let's just get down to the nitty-gritty, so to speak. How many companies can we have in the incubator initially? The space, as you'll see soon, we're targeting 4 companies with 1 to 3 people per company. So if you do the math, it can hold about 10 to 13, 14 people inside there. The other thing that we will plan on doing is high-quality mentorship. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that afterwards. But the bottom line is, if it was just a co-working space, this is a term that exists out there in London, then it's basically just an office with support. But the fact that we are going to offer additional services turns it into an incubator. So by mentorship, we'll talk about the different services and basically advice that we can give to companies and help them to get past that early, difficult, and critical stage. We also plan on having some events, so events like this, but also more informal ones, and we're going to target 1 per month going forward. And then finally, we're going to support in networking opportunities and gaining access to capital. So it may not be a surprise to you that here in London, there's a lot of early stage financing going on. And some of us are involved in that business as part of our day jobs, and I'll mention some of that towards the end. But basically, sometimes startup companies get to a certain point and they need access to, they need introductions to early stage financing, and so we can certainly help with that in terms of one of the services that we want to offer. So in terms of the terms and conditions, there's not a lot of terms and conditions. The basic top level is that it's open to INSEEC alumni, as Sylvie said. We have decided to turn it into a rolling 3-month type of a program initially. We're going to test that out. So if you're accepted, you're automatically in for 3 months, and we'll agree on some milestones, and then you can stay up to 6 additional months. So that's a total of 9 months. So that's almost a year. Some accelerators, if you've heard about accelerators, they're different from incubators, but they have probably a maximum time of 10 months. So some accelerators are only 3 months. So that's the basic idea here. 3 months initially, and then you can renew 2 more times probably, possibly. In terms of the application process, I'm interested in receiving some emails from companies. Unfortunately, I already have from a couple of people. I think you're in the front row. That tells you the entrepreneurship mentality. They went right to the front row. So, but basically, send me an email and tell me, describe your concept, your product, etc. For the application process, we'll have 1 to 3 meetings, and then we will pass it on to a selection committee, which will actually then look at the concept, the business plan, the idea, and see if it makes sense to approve the application. So it's as simple as that. Send me an email and we'll get the process started. So there could be a lot of criteria. We could put a lot of restrictions on profitability, things like that. We don't want to do that. We recognize that projects are all at different stages, and we want a mix. So we'd love to have a brand new company, but we'd also like to have one that's very experienced, that is 2 or 3 years old. So I think that'll improve the dynamic within the incubator. So within the process, we'll agree some targets, some milestones that the company should try to meet within the first 3 months. And as I mentioned, if that's approved, it can go up to 9 months in total. In some special cases, if it makes sense, if there's a big funding event that's about to happen and they don't want to spend money on some office space somewhere else, we can potentially extend it. So it's not real hard and fast rules, but that's the basic outline there. So what are the fun stuff? What are the benefits to a company? Obviously, the campus location. I mentioned London. I mentioned Marylebone. Marylebone's a great place, but many companies, when they think about starting a company in London, they think about Shoreditch. So, so you know the key differences between Shoreditch and Marylebone, I'm sure. So I don't have to let you know about that. The facilities here, there's enough space, like I said, for 4 companies, probably expandable. There's wireless access and a breakout room for students to use for private meetings. And we have audio and video studios. So why is that important? So nowadays, when companies are pitching for funds to go to the next stage, or even just to communicate what their company does, they typically build videos. This is the new thing. In the last 2 years, I've seen an explosion of it. Downstairs, there's a fabulous audio and video facility that you can go look at after we're through here. I'd encourage you to go downstairs and take a look at it. It's pretty impressive. It's a full-on recording studio, and it also has video facilities as well. So you can take advantage of that as a key benefit. I already mentioned these, but I wanted to put it in again. So mentorship, events, and networking opportunities. I got to keep hammering the fact that that's what a startup needs to be doing all the time, is networking, expanding their network from the very beginning. So that's it in a very quick nutshell. I wanted to introduce somebody that very proactively and even aggressively approached us before the incubator was finished. The incubator was being built. He approached us, told us that he had a very strong idea for a company. He wanted to start a company. We supported him. And he is essentially the first resident of the incubator, and I wanted to introduce Alexandra Rana. So come on up, please.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mike, for the introduction. I'm very glad to be here tonight for the launch of the incubator, as I've been there for a year now. I've approached Mike and Ron last February, when I just finished my studies at INSEEC Bordeaux. At that time, I had the project of developing the brand of Pascal Café, who's a world champion of pastries and chocolates maker. So the idea was to develop the brand here in the UK, as we are already established in France, Italy, and Japan. I needed to have support in order to start the business. So I contacted Ron, and he invited me to meet with Mike and himself in order to present my project. They loved the idea. I think I've managed to convince them that I was enthusiastic enough to be part of this project. And they gave me the opportunity of being part of the incubator even before that it's launched. So thank you very much, Mike, for letting me having this opportunity to and support. I have benefits from all the benefits that Mike mentioned before. This is exactly what I benefit from. I've been mentored since the beginning. I started the business by Mike. I also had the opportunity to discuss with other lecturers of INSEEC, like accountants, lawyers, all the advices that you could think about when you're trying to start a business. I've received that from INSEEC and the lecturer, so I'm really fortunate to have had this chance. And yeah, it's a very good, very good project. Sorry, I'm really excited to receive some more companies in the incubator, as we will be able to grow together, help each other. We have had Kevin Montserrat, who's now working for Microsoft Venture, that has been involved somehow in some project that we've been working on. I've been working with Kevin Fallon, who's the digital content producer. It's been very helpful to produce some content for the digital media, all the marketing aspects I needed. So thank you, Kevin, for your help. I would like to thank also all the team of INSEEC. They help me a lot on a daily basis. And I'm sure it's going to be a very exciting program to be part of the incubator. So I advise you to come with us and launch your company. It's going to be great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks very much. And he was a little bit modest. He has a brand new client that he just, over the holidays, he was very stressed out, but he just penetrated into Intercontinental Hotels. So now, yeah. And I think one other benefit that he's received is he's had access to interns. So as students are looking for internships, I think one or two has helped him out in the past with his company. So it's a mutually beneficial relationship. Okay, so first of all, thank you all for coming. I wanted to point out a couple of different people and also wanted to mention that, again, we want this to be part of the ecosystem. So this isn't just office space and access to some students and high-speed wireless. It's actually links to companies like this. So most of these people are in the room right now. Syndicate Room, the founder of Syndicate Room came and gave a guest lecture to us. And so they're an intelligent equity crowdfunding platform. These guys, they were a startup 2 years ago, and they've funded probably 80 million pounds of money into small startup companies. So that's one company. Tech London, the mayor's office, I think they were, did she make it? It doesn't look like she arrived. Anyway, that's another person that agreed to come. Kevin, we also mentioned, Kevin Montserrat, Jan Mulari were students in the very first inaugural BIE program here. That's the Business Innovation and Entrepreneurship Program, and so it's nice to see them back. Zach is from a company called The Perfect Gentleman, and some of you may know him as a lecturer. He's always a dapperly dressed man there. Yeah, he's a perfect gentleman. We can all learn from him, at least half of us. And Studium, Dinesh Guarda, sitting right here, has a number of companies that he works with, and he's on campus, on site, so thank you for your support. Peter Town, thank you very much for coming. Peter Town is also, there he is back there. Dylan Fuller from Local Social Labs, I used that as a proxy logo, but he has history at eBay. He was the head of commerce there. He's worked at Microsoft. He also has been the acting CEO for a number of companies, and I think I've got him convinced to be our first mentor officially. So thanks, Dylan. Jolene, who is right here, she's helping us with the PR. Thank you very much. We also invited a couple people from these organizations. WERA is an accelerator that's owned by Telefonica. The Keiretsu Forum is it's the world's biggest business angel network, and Joe Ponsonby, who's also a lecturer here, is involved in that business. So it's all about helping companies get startup financing at the business angel level. So if I missed somebody, apologies, but thank you all for coming, all the students, the staff. Pardon me? Ladu is a contact of ours that went through another incubator program at London Business School, and so it may be that we learn or partner with other incubators like that. Okay. So very quickly, yeah, go ahead.
Before you start
Yeah.
the visit, I just want to say we also must thank the team here, Marie, Nalini, very modest, very Ange, Kevin and Christine, who are here, who worked to organize this event. Thank you very much. It was a real team event, and thanks for you.
So why don't we go visit the incubator? It's right across the hallway. There's a little ribbon there, so I think Sylvie will help us by cutting the ribbon so we can walk in the room and look at it. And also, please go downstairs and check out the AV studio. It's pretty impressive.
Can I just ask one question?
Sure.
I get how fantastic it is for startups, but
Right.
the companies that have been around for 1 or 2 years, what's the benefit to them? How do they benefit?
They still get some of the intangible benefits of, first of all, working with other companies,
Okay.
the events, the mentorship. Just because they've been around for a year or two doesn't mean they can't benefit from that.
Okay.
So it's all part of being the introductions that we provide to the rest of the ecosystem.
Okay.
So yeah, we want companies that not only the ones that are fresh, newly started, but also more experienced ones. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Yep. And then right after that, we're going to go next door. Yeah, just very quickly, let me just tell you what's next. So please, this is the most important part. We're going to go down, not downstairs, it's 3 steps down, turn left, and about 20 meters away, there's a place called Le Vieux Comptoir, and we'll have wine, food, and cheese. And then please come so we can keep on networking and keep on building this ecosystem. Question?
I think I've got the holistic view and the huge interest that represents for all students. future and how it's going to be handled along the program, whether it's going to be like a one-to-one mentorship or it's going to be more a group mentorship, and if there is any process that takes you to A to B, going through a fundraising strategy, or maybe benefit from all the great lectures that are actually here on the site.
Yeah, that will all happen. Obviously, every company is going to be at a different stage, so we felt that that was a little bit too much detail to get into in this general presentation, but I have a lot of ideas about that and some plans, and I'll be available for the next hour, so please, please come and talk to me about that. Okay? Yeah.
So I have several questions actually.
Yeah.
So the first is, what's your interaction with the other incubators? Why, with such an international school, we mainly have incubators coming out of France.
Right.
Coming from the Bay Area, you should probably know that it's probably one of the best places you can.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah.
why?
Why? Because it's early. So the plan is to build links with the other incubators, and we kept mentioning the fact that Ron Morris has moved to San Francisco, so this initiative is happening over there as well. Some people have started to make some moves. Sylvie mentioned the fact that we're investigating the possibility of teaming up with UC Berkeley in the Bay Area, specifically between INSEEC and UC Berkeley. So I think it's the dawn of all of that's going to happen. So yeah, so that's that.
If I'm allowed.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I think London is an amazing place for certain consumer internet businesses to test that. This is one of the best global cities, so this is a great place to be incubating. And the access to capital is pretty amazing.
Right.
There are things you can test in London. You test it in San Francisco, it doesn't scale. You test it here, if it works, you can scale it globally.
I totally agree with that. I was just
Yeah.
you know, questioning.
No, I'm just throwing it out there. It's quite fun. It's a good
Yeah,
city
it's
to
good.
be testing stuff in.
And it wasn't always the case. So it's all started to happen in the last few years. Yep. Any other questions? No? Okay.
I think
Let's,
they'll save them for Levert.
Sure, let's do it. Let's do it. So let's go take a look at the incubator. It's right across the hallway. And